Welcome back. I got a shower this evening, so let's reading more. I need that water. So let's try finish reading. It is soon 2 p.m. I think I cook a bit hot food, tuna in oil, and rice. Just so soon 2 p.m. But I need a minute. I need a minute to do myself ready. I'm checking my cell phone.
Edit. The Republic of Singapore Air Force began as a small F-16 user, but has a steadily growing fleet. It has operated the aircraft since 1988, when the first of its initial order for 8 F-16A/B-15OCU arrived. A midlife upgrading program is ongoing since 2015, when Lockheed Martin was selected to upgrade the fleet, and expected to complete in 2023. The Singapore Foreign Military Sales Program is known as Peace Carving. South Korea, edit. Facing a need for advanced aircraft to counter North Korea's numerical superiority, the Republic of Korea Air Force ordered 36 F-16C/D Block 32 aircraft in 1981. Later 4 F-16Ds were added by profit from exchange rate fluctuation, making it the first operator of the C/D model outside of the United States. A more ambitious program, Korean Fighter Program, aiming to provide 120 new fighters, was initially lost to the F-18 Hornet, but various difficulties led to the order going to the F-16C/D Block 52D, KF-16C/D, 72 of which were to be manufactured in South Korea. 36 of them were to be delivered in kit form and assembled in South Korea, and 12 were to be produced in Fort Worth. In 2000, a further 20 Korean-built F-16s were added. The South Korean Foreign Military Sales Program is known as Peace Bridge. In May 2009, the South Korean government announced an upgrade plan for its KF-16C/D fleet's radar and armament, as part of the 2010 to 2014 arms acquisition and management package being submitted to President Lee Myung-bak for approval. The RACAF operates about 135 of the KF-16 fighters, many of which were built in Korea under a $5.5 billion licensing agreement from 1994 to 2004. Key upgrades will include new radars to replace the existing APG-68V5/B7 systems, avionics and computers, and improving cabling and data buses to MIL STD 1760 so that the aircraft will be able to carry GPS-guided weapons, AIM-9X Sidewinder missiles, and other new equipment. In March 2014, the Republic of Korea Air Force revealed that it was considering leasing F-16s operated by the U.S. Air Force. RCAF F-4 and F-5 fighters were intended to be replaced through the FX-3 competition by 2016 and the KFX indigenous fighter, but FX-3 deliveries were delayed until 2018 and the KFX won't enter service until 2023. With the aging fighters still needing to be retired, between 20 and 60 American F-16s are being reviewed for leasing to sustain aircraft numbers. South Korea had previously leased US T-38 Talon trainers for over a decade until the completion of the T-50 Golden Eagle, but a country leasing a combat fighter is very rare due to risk of increased costs if they need to be used in a conflict situation. Taiwan, Republic of China, edit. Republic of China Air Force, RCAF, is a major F-16 customer. In 1992, 150 F-16A/B Block 20s were ordered while at the same time Taiwan ordered 60 Dassault Mirage 2000s and launched its own indigenous fighter program, the AIDC Chinkyo. Delivery of all F-16s was completed in 2001. Taiwan's foreign military sales program is known as Peace Feng Huang, Peace Phoenix. President Barack Obama agreed to a $5.3 billion deal to upgrade Taiwan's current fleet of F-16A/B Block 20s to a configuration similar to that of the proposed F-16V Standard with active electronically scanned array, AESA, radars. Taiwanese F-16Vs are being upgraded with the AN/APG-83 AESA radar and a helmet-mounted cueing system. In 2019, Taiwan received its first F-16V. Taiwan upgraded 42 F-16A/Bs to the latest F-16V standard and aims to upgrade rest of the 141 aircraft to the latest standard by 2023 as part of a $3.8 billion modernization plan. The Republic of China Air Force, RCAF, needing a next-generation fighter to replace its fleet of Northrop F-5s, has expressed interest in the new F-35 Lightning II. However, due to political issues, it is unlikely it will be able to acquire such an advanced fighter in the near future. As a result, the RCAF has opted for up to 66 new F-16C/D Block 50/52 as its interim replacement fighter. As with all military purchases, Beijing has expressed opposition to the sale. In August 2019, the Trump administration approved the sale of up to 66 new F-16 Block 70s worth up to $8 billion to Taiwan. Taiwan has upgraded all of its F-16A/B Block 20 aircraft to F-16V standard by December 2023. Thailand, edit. The Royal Thai Air Force was initially considered a candidate to purchase the F-16/79. Thailand's first order was for 12 F-16A/B Block 15 OCU fighters, immediately bolstered by a further 6 F-16A Block 15 OCU planes. 18 more aircraft were received in 1995, the last new production Block 15 aircraft built. An attempt to buy F-18 Hornets failed, and in place of them, the U.S. offered to sell former USAF F-16 ADFs as excess defense articles. A total of 18 aircraft were bought. In early 2005, the Royal Thai Air Force received 3 F-16A Block 15 OCUs and 4 F-16B Block 15 OCU from the Republic of Singapore Air Force. The Thai foreign military sales program is known as Peace Norwegian. In 2011, 18 F-16A/B Block 15 OCUs from 403 SQD will be upgraded to F-16 MLU standards. The F-16A and F-16B are respectively referred to as B.KH.19, Thai, ... and B.KH.19O, Thai, ... under the Thai designation system. Units: 102 Squadron Stars, 103 Squadron Lightning, 403 Squadron Cobra. South America, edit. Argentina, edit. In November 2015, after freezing the purchase of IAIC-4 aircraft from Israel, the Argentine Air Force requested price and availability of the F-16 from the US as a definitive combat aircraft, and the eventual acquisition should be decided in the future. However, no deal had been materialized by September 2020. On the 12th of August 2021, Argentina received an offer from Southcom General Laura J. Richardson for a total of 26 F-16 Block 40s with an additional 18 to be donated if the deal is closed. This deal comes alongside other offers by Chinese, Russian, and Indian delegations who have offered the JF-17/FC-1, MiG-35, and HAL Tejas respectively. In late November, details had been released regarding the Argentine Air Force's interest in the F-16 as they had formalized in the short term with the United States a request for information regarding procurement of F-16 Block 50s instead of the older Block 40 previously offered. In late January 2022, details were released regarding a new deal to acquire the F-16. The Danish Air Force is currently in the process of retiring its F-16s in favor of the F-35, and Argentina is currently working alongside the American Foreign Military Sales Program in order to procure 12 ex-Danish F-16A/B MLUs. The deal stands that each unit would cost approximately $15 million with personnel training and spare parts included. However, the deal as of late January 2022 does not include other weapons or sensor pods. The FAA is currently negotiating as well for the inclusion of a KC-135R to be added into the fighter deal to provide aerial refueling capabilities for the F-16. In July 2023, the Biden administration sent a notifications to the U.S. Congress for authorization to sell up to 38 second-hand Lockheed Martin F-16 fighter jets to Argentine Air Force. The proposal includes 6 fighters in the Block 10 and 32 Block 15 versions, with a total value of $338,695,634. On the 26th of March 2024, Argentina's and Denmark's Ministries of Defense signed a letter of intent on the possible sale of 24 F-16s, 16M and 8BM. On the 19th of December 2024, the first ex-Danish F-16 arrived in Argentina. It was officially unveiled in Buenos Aires on the 24th of February 2025. Chile, edit. The Chilean Air Force selected the F-16 as the winner of a long-running competition to provide the nation's next generation of fighter aircraft in 2000. The F-16 competed successfully against the JAS-39 Gripen, the Dassault Mirage 2000, and the F-18 Hornet. The deal for 6C and 4D model aircraft was valued at $600 million in 2002 and was conducted under a program named Peace Puma. 18 surplus F-16A/B MLU aircraft, 11 F-16Ms and 7 F-16BMs, were bought from the Netherlands in 2005, and were delivered by mid-2006. In late 2008, the Chilean Ministry of Defense expressed its interest in buying 18 more aircraft from the Netherlands, which was later confirmed in April 2009. The Chilean F-16 Block 50S can be armed with U.S. missiles such as the AIM-120 AMRAAM and AIM-9 Sidewinder, and the Israeli-made Derby, Python 4 and Python V. The Chilean F-16s are part of the following units. 1st Air Brigade, I Brigada Air Area, in Los Condes Air Base. 3rd Aviation Group, Grupo de Aviación N3. 5th Air Brigade, V Brigada Air Area, in Cerro Moreno Air Base. 7th Aviation Group, Grupo de Aviación N7. 8th Aviation Group, Grupo de Aviación N8. Venezuela, edit. The first and for a long time the only Latin American user of the F-16, Venezuela ordered a total of 24 F-16A/B Block 15 aircraft in May 1982 under the Peace Delta program. The U.S. government originally offered the F-16/J79 version, but eventually authorized the sale of the standard Block 15 version. Deliveries of 18A models and 6B models began in September 1983 and were completed in 1985. Since entering operational service in 1984, these fighters have served with 161st and 162nd Fighter Squadrons of Fighter Air Group 16 at El Libertador Air Base, Palo Negro. The Venezuelan Air Force had wanted to order a further batch of 24 aircraft, but was unable to afford the purchase. Venezuela has been seeking 2 attrition replacements for lost F-16s since late 1997, but has not been able to obtain them due to financial problems and souring relations between the United States and the government of President Hugo Chavez. On the 15th of May, 2006, the U.S. government announced that it would enact a ban on arms sales to Venezuela to become effective at the beginning of October of that year. This embargo was expected to soon render Venezuela's F-16 fleet non-operational, and General Alberto Muller, a military advisor to President Chavez, responded to the embargo announcement with a threat to sell Venezuela's remaining 21 F-16s to Iran. Subsequently, the Chavez government decided to pursue replacement of its American-sourced military aircraft inventory with Russian aircraft, and in mid-June 2006 it was revealed that Venezuela had recently ordered several Sukhoi Su-30s. Venezuela's F-16s have been modified to use the Israeli Python 4 infrared-guided air-to-air missile. They are also capable of carrying the Rafael Lightning II targeting pod. Operating units model location: 16 Grupo Aéreo de Casa Dragons El Libertador Air Base, Palo Negro. Escuadrón de Casa 161 Caribs F-16A/B Block 15 El Libertador Air Base, Palo Negro. Escuadrón de Casa 162 Gavilans F-16A/B Block 15 El Libertador Air Base, Palo Negro. Former operators, edit. Italy, edit. Italy decided on the Eurofighter Typhoon as its next generation of air defense fighter, however this aircraft faced delivery delays for some time. In the meantime, 24 Panavia Tornado ADV jets from the United Kingdom were leased to cover the gap. This lease ran out in 2003, without the Typhoon being ready for service. The solution was provided by a 5-year lease of 34 F-16s, with an option to extend the lease for another 5 years. Of the 34, 30 aircraft were F-16A/B Block 15 ADFs, while the remaining 4 were earlier block aircraft for spares. These were all used U.S. Air Force fighters. In June 2010, the Italian Air Force started the return of the F-16s to the United States, which was completed on the 23rd of May, 2012, when all the Italian F-16s were returned to the US. The Italian foreign military sales program was known as Peace Caesar. Norway, edit. Norway was one of the original 5 NATO partners participating in the F-16 program. On the 6th of January, 2022, Norway announced that all of its F-16s had been retired, having been replaced by the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. In the 1970s, Norway needed a replacement for the F-104 Starfighter and later on the F-5, which had been in service since the 1960s. Norway participated in a collaboration with Denmark, the Netherlands and Belgium to choose a new combat aircraft. Together they selected the F-16 Fighting Falcon in 1975 as part of the European Participating Air Forces (EPAF) agreement. Norway ordered 74 F-16 A/B Block 1, 5, 10 and 15, some of them being the OCU package through the Peace Falcon program. However, Norway ended up upgrading their Block 1 and 5 planes. The first F-16s were delivered to Bodø Airport in 1980 and first flew with the 332 Squadron. In the 1990s, Norway's F-16 aircraft received an extensive midlife update, MLU, and many planes converted to the Block 20 to keep them operational. The upgrades included new cockpit with modern displays and computers, better radar, APG-66, V2, for better target tracking, Link 16 for better communication with NATO aircraft, ability to use modern weapons such as AIM-120 AMRAAM and JDAM. Phase out and sale of the F-16. After the phase out, Norway's F-16 was sold on. 32 aircraft were sold to Romania in 2023. 12 aircraft were sold to Draken International, a private company in the USA. Future operators, edit. Bulgaria, edit. It was reported in December 2012 that Bulgaria was going to negotiate buying 8 or 9 second-hand fighter jets. Among the contenders were the Swedish Gripen, second-hand Italian Eurofighters and second-hand Portuguese F-16s. Later, in January 2013, it was reported that the Bulgarian Defense Ministry was expected to buy 9 F-16s from Portugal. The final phase of the initial preparations was to be started by the middle of 2013. However, widespread protests led to the resignation of the Borisov cabinet, which delayed all government plans and activities. A new round of negotiations for the purchase of second-hand Greek F-16s had started by the middle of 2014. Possible negotiations with the US were also expected, with hopes of reaching a decision over the procurement in 2015. In July 2015, the government of Bulgaria approved negotiations with Belgium, the Netherlands and Greece for the procurement of second-hand F-16s. The increasingly pressing issue of MiG-29 maintenance, which had been pushing on the deadlines of the procurement, was expected to be resolved by an agreement with Poland for the repairs of the jet's engines. The decision was further delayed beyond 2015 because no money had been set aside for the purchase. To alleviate the issue of air defense, the Ministry of Defense proposed to allow other NATO members to conduct air policing missions with the Bulgarian Air Force. By then, only 4 Bulgarian MiG-29s had enough flying capacity left to conduct air policing. This nearly led to the stepping down of the Bulgarian Air Force commander at the time, Rumen Radev, as a protest against the Defense Ministry's plan to conduct joint air policing missions. He stated that the overhaul of MiG-29 engines was only a temporary solution, with the purchase of new fighters still considered urgent. In response, the Bulgarian Ministry of Finance reportedly set aside funding for the purchase of new fighter jets in the 2016 budget draft. Plans and procedures for the procurement of fighter jets and patrol ships were established in the middle of 2016, with around 2.42 billion lev, €1.24 billion, earmarked for the projects. The estimated cost of the jets was expected to be around 1.5 billion lev, and a contract for 8 aircraft was supposed to be reached by the end of 2016. Deliveries were planned from 2018 to 2021, and those of an additional 8 aircraft from 2022 to 2023. In October 2016, it was alleged that technical specifications for the procurement had been altered to favor the F-16, which led to several Bulgarian members of parliament to request comments from the Minister of Defense. More delays were met as Prime Minister Boyko Borisov resigned due to his party's presidential candidate losing the elections, and because Bulgarian parties failed to form a new government, which led to new elections. By March 2017, the Bulgarian Ministry of Defense had received 3 offers, from Sweden with Gripens, from Italy with second-hand Eurofighters, and from Portugal with second-hand US F-16s. A working group began evaluating these offers and by April, concluded that the Gripen was the preferred choice. In June 2017, Bulgaria had said that it would start negotiations for the Gripen. However, the procurement was again put on hold over concerns that not all bidders were treated equally. A new round of proposals was asked, which also included newly built Eurofighters from Italy and F-16s from the United States. In November 2017, it was reported that the Bulgarian Air Force was also looking into buying US-made Super Hornets. A decision was expected by July 2018. In March 2018, it was reported that Israel was to be invited to participate in the tender with F-16C/D fighter jets. In December 2018, the Bulgarian Ministry of Defense selected the offer for 8 F-16Vs from the United States for an estimated 1.8 billion lev, $1.05 billion, as the preferred option, and recommended the government to start talks with the US. On the 16th of January 2019, the Bulgarian parliament approved the government's proposal to start negotiations with the United States to purchase F-16V Block 70 aircraft. In May 2019, however, Bulgarian Minister of Defense Krasimir Karakachanov stated in a radio interview that Bulgaria was considering walking away from negotiations for the aircraft, saying that although Bulgaria was not expecting aircraft for free, but at normal prices, taking into account the prices offered to other countries, for example Slovakia. On the 3rd of June 2019, the US State Department approved the possible sale of 8 F-16s to Bulgaria. The cost of the contract was estimated at $1.2 billion. The deal was vetoed by the Bulgarian President, Rumen Radev, on the 23rd of July 2019, citing the need to find a broader consensus for the deal, sending the deal back to Parliament. But on the 26th of July the deal was again approved by Parliament, overruling the veto, and this time was approved by Radev. In November 2022, the purchase of a further 8 planes, spares, weapons and other systems was approved by the Parliament, for delivery in 2027. Potential operators, edit. This section possibly contains unsourced predictions, speculative material, or accounts of events that might not occur. Information must be verifiable and based on reliable published sources. Please help improve it by removing unsourced speculative content. April 2020, learn how and when to remove this message. Brazil, edit. On the 12th of June, 2024, the specialized website Yanes reported an ongoing negotiation between the Brazilian Air Force, FAB, and USAF for 24 F-16s from the US stocks, possibly Block 40/42. The units would be complementary to the newest Saab JAS-39 Gripen, and to replace the oldest AMX and Northrop F-5 to be retired from 2025.